Hello, my name's Ray, and I just bought a motorcycle. It's not my first, but I thought I would take it out for a couple of days and see how it went. It's a Honda CRF300 Rally, bought specifically for a certain journey, but it arrived a little late, so that journey's been pushed until next year. So I took it out on a little tour of Southern California. I had a couple of locations in mind, but I'm a firm believer that maybe turning left or right doesn't matter. You might end up in the same place. As usual, as soon as you buy a motorcycle, you just start spending more money and changing parts. So there's a quick list of the things I've done. You might think the heated grips are a bit of a luxury for Southern California, but not for where this thing's designed to go. As I said, the bike arrived 5 months late. Dealership was amazing, so no fault of theirs. But the very least I could do if I wasn't taking a big trip was get it out for a couple of days. I may have chosen exactly the wrong time of year to do this, though. This is the middle of July. My friend Doug came over to give me a hand loading up the bags, and I got kitted up. Those are the Moscow Moto 80s. I don't know what he's doing here, but ignore that. The right hand strap on the right bag, the way it's put around the frame in that location, don't put it there. You will thank me later, but it got a little bit melted. Armed with a camelback and some beef jerky, it's time to set off. That is the Alpinestars Halo jacket, and thankfully the sleeves come off to leave you with mesh, but the armor is still on the jacket. Leaving LA, the plan is to head east and then up into the mountains towards Big Bear Lake, then east to Yucca Valley, towards Joshua Tree, and then through the park and down to the Salton Sea. Unfortunately, I gotta say, this bike is not great on the highway. There are people who will tell you it can do it, and it can do it, but and I'm still braking in the engine, but vibrations pick up around 60 miles an hour. It really is difficult to keep pace with modern traffic. So if you're commuting every day on a highway, I would say this is not the bike for you. I will say this bike feels a lot like you're sitting very far towards the front of it. And this is my first single cylinder in a while. I've had Honda 250, a Ninja 250, BMW 650, R1200 GS, and a V-Strom before this. Here we get our first look at the lake, and it was 85 degrees when I left, but now that we find ourselves just under 7,000 feet, it is nice and comfortable. The bike's doing well, I'm good. It's pretty good so far. We pass some interesting off-roaders before we make a left to cross over at the skinnier end of the lake. One thing I will say is that more than the heat, the wind is an annoyance to me, especially on a bike this light. The heat you can deal with, just close everything up. I've got tinted visor, keep all your skin covered, fill the camelback with ice before you fill it with water. But when it's windy, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and it was about to get worse. It doesn't take long around here for the landscape to change, and it is stunning. But now we are headed downhill. In order to reach Yucca Valley, I knew it was east on the map or southeast. It turns out the road only goes northwest down into the Mojave Desert. But hey, we'll follow it anyway. As we head down to the Lucerne Valley, in yet another environment. It's beautiful, but it might not come out on the camera, but there's a few dust storms around by the side of the road. Beautiful. Windy! I found this large white rock at a turning in the road, and I guess in a landscape this barren, it's a great way to mark your driveway. So I took a little break for a while. Finally reached the town of Yucca Valley, where I found a motel room for the night, not even realizing that the camera was still running. I must be a little fried, and I realized as the sun sets that it's 104 degrees in the shade. Time to find some healthy dinner. The next day, my destination was mainly based on places I didn't want to go, and I certainly wasn't going north back into the desert. So south it was to make use of the National Parks Pass that I never use often enough, into Joshua Tree National Park, where we would see the only two people crazy enough to be there in July, along with me. The Moscow Moto luggage is very well built, really rugged. It's expensive, but I'm hoping at a good investment in the long term. Finally, we find a couple of dirt roads, and I'm taking it easy, but this feels what this bike was built for. Very stable, very comfortable, easy to handle. As you head further south in Joshua Tree National Park, the trees start to disappear, so do the large rock formations, and there's the fan running, full force. It becomes noticeably hotter. Yucca Valley is 3,200 feet, and where we're going now is gonna be below sea level. And it was starting to take its toll a little bit, I think. After refueling at the old tank museum off I-10, I managed to find a quiet road going south. So quiet that I saw one truck in about 20 miles. And this might be my favorite part of the whole journey, because quite quickly this road turned into something that looked like a place where they shot the old Star Trek episodes or something. It doesn't take long for the landscape to change again, and this is the first time we really see something man-made in a while. And it turns out to be orange groves and palm tree plantations, which I didn't expect to find out here, given it's so dry. Each one of those trees, I'm guessing, is well over $10,000. Then it's time to find the only shade I can for a couple of minutes. This is the old convenience store, liquor store, and the pink building is the gas station. Last time I was here, it wasn't boarded up, the bars were in place, but the appliances were still in the store. here we're heading down the east side of the Salton Sea to the town of Bombay Beach, which looks like the road's just been resurfaced recently. This town is the lowest town in all of America at 223 feet below sea level. It's the largest lake in California and definitely the most toxic lake in California. It's also the place with, I think, the highest unemployment rate in the state. The town was a thriving beach resort from the 50s until the 1970s, but the salinity of the lake kept rising so that it couldn't sustain wildlife. Apparently, many residents were supposedly driven out by the smell of rotting fish. It's not that bad today, but you can see the fish skeletons on the beach. This was definitely the hottest temperatures I think I'd been in for a couple of days, so I decided to stop off and get some water. There is a convenience store and a bar in town. Nearest gas is 20 miles, nearest hospital is 45 minutes. It was so bright outside I actually thought the store was closed and then got surprised by the shopkeeper sitting down behind the counter. Very nice lady though.
How hot is it, by the way?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the temperature today?
Well, it's supposed to be over 114.
I took that as my cue to get out of there and head back to the city. Next week I'll post a video of a different bike on a different continent, somewhere a lot cooler and wetter than this place. The biggest issue I had with this bike was actually, it's not on camera, was coming back on I-10 you have to pass through a wind farm. The bike couldn't sustain its speed with a strong headwind in 6th gear, so you had to drop to 5th, and we were passed by, well, just about everyone. I kept wanting to pick up the front of the bike a little bit, felt very light. That's the only real issue I've had with it, so it's competent, it's fast enough, just for me it's not something to commute on or take on the highway. Thank you for watching.